Are you ready to see the moon turn a blood red color in the sky? Well, let's talk about it in this week's Sky Tonight. At this time of year, we can say farewell to the great winter constellation of Orion the Hunter that is just lingering in the western part of our sky. You still have an opportunity to see his very famous belt with 3 stars in a row. Above his belt, you have a decent view of his shoulder stars. And his right shoulder, the star Betelgeuse, that red supergiant, is just hanging on for a little bit more. So definitely take a look at some of these leftover winter stars before they completely disappear in the west. As we say farewell to the mighty hunter and warrior of Orion in the west, we can say hello to another warrior and hero known as Hercules, rising out of the east and northeast. It's not as bright of a constellation as Orion, but you want to look for his body, which is called the keystone. And just above that keystone shape is a famous deep sky object called the Great Cluster of Hercules. This is a globular cluster of hundreds of thousands of stars packed closely together. And this can be billions of years old, holding some of the oldest stars in our galaxy. An amazing cluster you can see through binoculars or a telescope. Or if you're in a really dark location, you might be able to see it with your naked eye. So that's situated inside Hercules, now rising up a little higher at this time of the year. And we got some really exciting things with the moon this week, right as we wrap up the weekend on May 15th and 16th. Well, of course, we have a full moon, and the full moon in May is called the flower moon. But with this full moon, this time around, we have a total lunar eclipse when the moon passes into Earth's shadow and turns a bloody red color. That's why we call it the blood moon. And this is when the Earth, moon, and sun line up in a perfectly straight line. That's actually called a syzygy. It's my favorite word in the English language. So you have to be in certain locations on Earth to see this, primarily in North America and South America. But here in the East Coast of the United States, we have a really good view. The partial eclipse begins at 2:27 Universal Time or 10:27 Eastern Daylight Time, and the moon starts to go into Earth's shadow. Then you have full eclipse at 3:29 Universal Time or 11:29 Eastern Daylight Time. And then at maximum eclipse, when the moon is deepest in Earth's shadow and is very dark, ruddy red color, that occurs at 4:11 Universal Time or 12:11 Eastern Daylight Time. And then that full eclipse ends at 4:53 Universal Time or 12:53 Eastern Daylight Time. And finally, that partial lunar eclipse ends at 5:55 Universal Time or 1:55 Eastern Daylight Time. So take advantage of this alignment of the Earth, Moon, and Sun. Hey, you made it through another entire episode of our Sky Tonight. If you want a longer form version of this, check out our social media channels here. We, of course, hope to see you back here again. I like to say happy total lunar eclipse viewing and, of course, happy stargazing.